Didn't see you there. I'm the Garbageman, and I just purchased myself the latest in 2018 home entertainment. Unfortunately, I can't figure this thing out. There's so many goddamn wires. The instructions don't even help. So, I'm gonna have to go to Plan B for all my entertainment needs for the time being.
Plug-in plays, you know, those things for people who are too cheap to buy their child a real system with real games. I mean, what a deal, right? Why buy a $300 Xbox with no games when you can buy this for 20 bucks with a bunch of games built in, and all you gotta do is two easy steps. Plug it in, and play. Plug-and-play consoles have been around since the early 2000s. While some of them were just re-releases of popular arcade games, there were a lot of them with original games based off of popular IPs made by a company called Jakks Pacific. The one I'm going to be looking at today is the Spongebob plug-and-play, released in 2003. Let's take a look.
Here's a close-up of the unit, and I have to say, I really like its design. It's got a classic Atari 2600 layout with the joystick in the middle, button in the top left, and it looks really nice, being modeled after SpongeBob's face. It works well with his nose being the joystick, which is a pretty good joystick. It's responsive, works pretty well. The button is a bit squishy, but you get kind of used to it, so it's fine. Reset button, got your power light and on off switch, standard. You got your rubber feet, so if you place it down, it doesn't really slide. You can play it like on a table or something if you really want to. I prefer to just hold it, but it's nice for people who want to play it like that. And it's also got a screw-on battery compartment, which I hate these because every time I want to play it, I have to search my house for a screwdriver just so I can put batteries in. I really wish they had something that just, flips on and off, something easy like that, but, it's an unnecessary hassle, but whatever. I guess you're just not going to lose the lid or something, I guess. And of course, on top you have the wire, really long wire you get with it. Of course, at the end, you just have your composite video and mono audio, which I really wish they had two audio channels, given this was 2003 and TVs have two speakers, but it would have been nice. I'm not asking for true stereo, but whatever.
Now we get to the games. At the start, we're greeted by a big logo accompanied by a smiling SpongeBob. Hey, I think you're a little too happy to see me. I'll put on some pants if you get you to stop staring at me like that. Press fire to continue. You're gonna have to give me a sec. I can't figure out what's the fire button on here. So on the main menu there are 5 games to choose from. SpongeBob's Bubble Pop, Sandy's Surf Adventure, Invasion of the Hooks, Patrick in the Maze, and the Super Chum Bucket. I'll just play them in order, starting with SpongeBob's Bubble Pop. This game is your basic Arkanoid clone. You control SpongeBob and bounce the ball off your head to pop all the bubbles in each stage, without letting the ball touch the ground. Besides popping all the bubbles, you also have to hit these things at the top, which I think are wooden barrels, in order to advance to the next stage. Besides the normal bubbles that take 1 hit to destroy, you have gray bubbles that take 2 hits, and shells that are indestructible. There's also these jellyfish in certain stages that just float around, minding their own business, unaware of the cruel fate SpongeBob has planned for them. They take 3 hits to kill, but you don't have to kill them in order to beat the stage, so they're just there to get in your way. Every so often, some bubbles will drop one of 8 power-ups. There's Catch Ball, which allows you to grab the ball and throw it when you want to. Slow ball, which fucking sucks and will make each stage last an hour. Speed ball just makes the ball go faster. Flame ball allows the ball to cut right through bubbles without bouncing off and is capable of destroying shells. Triple ball spawns 3 balls. Spatula shot gives you 2 spatulas you can throw straight up at any time, destroying anything in their way. Widen Spongebob, which, well, widens him, obviously. And 5-way ball, which spawns 5 balls at once. Also, at random, some bubbles will drop letters that spell out bonus. When all the letters are collected, you'll get a 2 times score. There's also a 4 times score, but I never got it, so I don't know how to get it. You also have a limited amount of lives, but the game has unlimited continues, so the only penalty for losing all your lives is restarting the current stage and losing all your bonus letters. Most of the stages are pretty easy until you get to the last few when they decide to throw a crap ton of shells everywhere. Look at this stage where you have to keep getting the ball to go in these tight spaces where it'll only hit one bubble and bounce out. Unless you're lucky enough to get a flame ball, which I wasn't, it'll take fucking forever. The game has 50 stages in total, and I did manage to beat them all, and when you do, you're greeted with this. Well done, Spongebob. You managed to pop all the bubbles and clear Bikini Bottom of those nasty, icky bubbles. That's a weird way to word it. That's just saying the same thing twice in the same sentence. Bikini Bottom is now safe? How are bubbles threatening people's safety? Were they fucking killing people or something? Sandy's Surf Adventure is the next game. It's a 2D shooter where you play Sandy on a clamshell, throwing acorns at rampaging seahorses, sea urchins with smug-ass grins, clams, and these stars that just fly all over the place. Your standard attack throws a single acorn, and you can't hold the button down to keep shooting, which is annoying. You can get power-ups like a tri-shot and automatic fire, but they only last for a certain amount of time. The screen moves so slow, as if the camera is being dragged by a fucking sea snail. There are checkpoints along the way in case you die, but they aren't marked, so you don't know if you passed one until you die and go back to one. They're also spaced far apart from each other too, so when you do die, expect to go back pretty far. You also only get 3 lives, and when you lose all of those, you have to start from the beginning all over again. Honestly, I didn't even bother trying to beat this one. Next game is Invasion of the Hooks. So this is a game where you play as Spongebob trying to save his friends from fishing hooks by throwing Krabby Patties at them. You know, which makes sense. Any rational person's first reaction seeing their friends being dragged away is to throw sandwiches at them. So it starts with you protecting Sandy, Squidward, and Patrick, but later on they add Mr. Krabs and Gary after a few stages. Each hook has a different color which determines how fast it is and how many hits it takes to stop, with the faster ones taking less hits and the slower ones taking more hits. Once you hit the hooks enough, it'll reel away, and strangely you can still get points for hitting them while they go away for some reason. Also, a kelp bar will randomly drop down, which will just give you bonus points. I just love the whole 2 frames of animation they have when they get pulled up. Gary just looks fucking terrified. I only played through 15 stages through this before I got bored and shut it off, so yeah, next game. Fourth on the list is Patrick in the Maze. Like you'd expect, you play as Patrick having to navigate a maze. Your main attack is a jellyfish net, which you can grab a jellyfish and launch them at other jellyfish to kill them. Sea urchins from Sandy's Surf Adventure make a return, though this time they're unkillable. The goal is to find each of his friends, being Gary, Squidward, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, and SpongeBob, and rescue them from the maze. Once you find a character, you'll have to play each one's minigame to rescue them. As if finding them isn't enough. No, you have to prove yourself worthy of being their rescuer. Fucking pricks. Each character's minigame has to be beaten twice in order to open electric gates that were blocking off certain sections of the maze, and 4 times to save each character. Every time you beat the minigame, it gets harder the next time you play it. Gary's minigame is a memory game where you have to beat the sequence, and if you have a good memory or just write down each one, you'll have no trouble with it. Squidward's minigame is just a ball and cup game, but with clams and a pearl. Mr. Krabs' minigame is keeping a ball in the air for a certain amount of time by pressing the button at the right time. Sandy's minigame is a game where you have to get enough pearls from these clams in a given time limit. And SpongeBob's minigame is a shitty hoop game where you have to make at least 3 balls in with god-awful controls. It literally took me 49 minutes to beat. It sucks. Around the maze you'll find various power-ups, like a Krabby Patty, which will give you super speed for a short time and allows Patrick to run up waterfalls. Clamshells make you momentarily invincible, and stars that replenish health. Yeah, I didn't mention it yet, but those stars at the bottom left are your health. If you lose all your health, you get sent back to the beginning, but thankfully you don't lose any of the progress with the characters' minigames if you die. Lastly, you also find chests full of gold all throughout the maze, but these only give you points, so unless you really care about getting a high score, they're worthless. And after saving all your friends and escaping the maze, what do you get? A flaccid text box, of course. And last but not least, we have the Super Chum Bucket. This game is a 2D platformer, similar to the arcade classic Donkey Kong. The goal is to make your way up to Plankton, all while platforming and avoiding enemies such as life preservers, electric gates, and these robot things. There's 40 stages in total, with unlimited continues, and there's not much else to say about it. It's a pretty good game.
Well, in conclusion, I do actually like this system. Now, I might be a little biased. I did have this thing since I was like 5, so... But I do actually genuinely like it. I think it has some decent games on it, and it's pretty cool to have, especially if you're a collector of game systems, plug-and-play systems, or even just a big Spongebob fan. I think it's pretty cool to have, and they don't go for that much. I usually can find these things on eBay for like 10, 15 bucks. So, yeah, that's a Spongebob plug-and-play. Check it out if you're interested.